This conference will now be recorded. This conference is no longer being recorded. This conference will now be recorded. This conference will now be recorded.
All right, now we are official. Morning, everybody. Today is Monday, October 27th. Welcome to the meeting of the Belchertown Opioid Settlement Funds Advisory Committee. Like I said, we've got 4 members here, so we've got a quorum. I'll keep my eye open. Also, I'm looking to my committee members who are here in person. If you see anybody who's joining us virtually, just make sure I know that, and be sure if they have questions or comments, whether they're committee members or interested members of the community, whoever they are. This is an open public meeting, so I'll try to keep my eye open for anybody joining us virtually. Hopefully you all have agendas. There's extra agendas there. I would say a couple of things. I'll call the meeting to order officially. It's about 10:05 by my watch, so make a note of that. We've got a few things to discuss. We've got some guests here today. Oh, great. Welcome, Angela.
Hey, sorry I'm late. I have an elevator repair guy at my office, so I had to get settled.
Oh, no worries. I'm glad you were able to join us. We're just getting started. I just kind of called the meeting to order. As you can probably see, we've got 4 of us here in Town Hall. I've got Emily, myself, Chris, and Dave, and now you virtually, which is great. We've got some guests. I don't know if you can see them based on camera, but we've got folks from BOAT and the school department here to talk about their applications. So hopefully you had a chance to look at the agenda. And hopefully all committee members had a chance to look at the proposal that we'll talk about today. So I want to do just a few updates. We've got some things just to check in on, particularly related to having been at the select board last week. We have the application from folks at the school district and with BOAT related to the drug-free communities program. Hey, Jill, no worries. Join us. Angela's here virtually. And some folks are here physically, so welcome. We've got most members of our committee here, so we're just getting rolling. You haven't missed anything, Jill. And feel free, Angela, if I don't see you or anything, just feel free to unmute and kind of jump in if you have a question or a comment, and I'll have other folks kind of keeping their eyes on virtual as well. Oh, good. There's Lauren. I see Lauren Kelly coming in from Hampshire Hope. So welcome, Lauren, as well, virtually.
Hi, folks.
All right. First discussion item. I apologize to the group. I said I would take a crack at looking at updating our application form for proposals in light of the state changing and updating how we report what we've done and what we've spent money on. And I didn't get a chance to do that. So it's still on my to-do list. But we're going to try to get our form and the state stuff a little bit more in sync with each other. So that's just one item. And hopefully by our next meeting, I'll have something that I have shared in advance so people can take a look at it. Next thing on the agenda is just what came up at a previous meeting. So we had our special meeting on October 2nd to look at a particular proposal from the Honest Beginnings program. We had talked at our last full meeting about doing a subcommittee and having a subcommittee meeting sort of in between our regular monthly meetings. And I'm sure maybe some of you have served on some subcommittees of official town committees. Just to refresh my own memory, I wanted to talk with the town clerk about what is involved with that, because I had thought it could be a little less formal than a full committee meeting, but based on open meeting law and other kinds of guidelines, just wanted to see the consensus or thinking about the group related to the fact that if we were to create a subcommittee, it would need to have an agenda and be posted. It would need to be a public open meeting, so you'd have to comply with open meeting law. Probably some people here, set up a virtual access point. We'd have to, report on what transpires at that subcommittee meeting. So it is more like, and I'm looking at our school colleagues here. I know, for example, school committee and the select board have subcommittees, but again, they have to be somewhat formalized and posted like a regular meeting. So I guess I wondered what folks think about that. I wondered if anybody who was thinking about being a part of this subcommittee / working group would be willing to take on all of those tasks, because I do the monthly meeting, the agenda, Jill takes care of a number of things related to the meeting. So if we were to go with a subcommittee, in addition to our regular monthly meeting, as we have been meeting, I would maybe look for somebody to take on the structures that have to happen with that. That's one option. Another option is we as a full committee just meet more frequently, because the subcommittee came up in the context of how once a month is maybe not a fast enough pace for some of what projects that we're looking at, particularly maybe that family opioid overdose support program where people would be able to access funds to support things. So let me stop there and just see what folks' thoughts are about set up a subcommittee, anybody willing to do it, or meet more frequently, and if so, what might that look like?
If we did decide to set up a subcommittee, and I'm open to going either way, whatever the group wants, I would be willing certainly to do the posting.
And all
that type of thing.
Okay.
I could come down here in theory and set up GoToMeeting.
In theory.
It
worked against.
But I would really like to have a backup to the
Right.
GoToMeeting piece in case for whatever reason, I think,
Yeah.
if somebody's out, if I'm out or whatever.
Right. Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate the willingness to look at taking that on. Other thoughts?
As far as I'm concerned, as you know, I'm the representative from Belchertown, from the Board of Health. And so I'm already, like, on this committee to that committee, I'm pretty much maxed out.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. No, that's honest. That's,
For the subcommittee.
Yep. No, I feel like that's honest.
Yeah.
And I know many of other folks here do this as also related to their work, their full-time, regular day job.
Yeah, and I'm
So-
the representative of Public Valley,
Right.
from Board of Health too, that's the meeting, so.
Heck, throw me on there.
On the
Okay.
subcommittee?
I mean, I'm gonna be in town now, so it's not gonna be like, that
Okay.
big of an ask. Another one to pick up.
There.
Yeah, it's all
Great.
good. It's all good.
Anybody
No
else?
shame.
I know, right? I'm trying to decide myself, even with the help of trying to, having Jill, if you take the lead on getting some of the logistical things in place.
And Jill, I mean, if that is the case and we do decide to do the subcommittee, I mean, I'm already familiar with this, so that way you can do that. For some reason, if you're not there, I at least know how to do it. So it just makes sense to do it this way.
Okay.
All right.
Great. Anybody else from
We
the
need a voice of
committee? Yeah.
reason.
Need a what?
We need a voice of
Need
reason
a
on the
voice
committee.
on the committee.
Oh, I'm
Well, what I expect all of you will be voices of reason and think things through. Remember too, that whatever the subcommittee, if you come up with ideas, proposals, things you want to do, then it comes to the full
Mhm.
committee. So it'll help with that idea of just maybe speeding things up just a little bit. Are there other committee members or even non-committee members? Remember too, that non-committee folks could be part of a subcommittee as well. Anybody else want to join? Emma? All right.
No, I'm just joking with you.
Well,
I mean,
here's-
honestly, do whatever you
here's the other thing that can happen. Just remember, similar to this meeting as well, folks who are not official members, like yourself, can drop in anytime. So once the subcommittee, that's part of the reason for posting it. People know what's on the agenda, what are they going to be talking about, both for the subcommittee and for this full committee. So anytime, you're more than welcome to pop in and, not to necessarily feel obligated, but, feel free to look at the agenda and make sure are you on my email list as well? Do you get the notices regularly? All right, then let me go back in and make sure. You're not on there either? No? Okay, let me add.
Can we have your
Emma
email?
and Amy.
Yes. Of course, I don't have, all right, I'll write it.
Or you can
Well,
send,
thank you for
can
letting me
email me
know.
with it
Yeah,
if you'd like.
all right, so I'll end.
Yes, okay. Bam.
All right, so I'll put you both on what I just call my opioid list, which is again, committee members plus lots of other people as well. Okay, cool.
I guess I just have one question. How is the subcommittee going to be different than the committee?
Well, the subcommittee will not have enough people to do any official voting,
Okay.
so it can't vote. But it certainly could come up with ideas, flesh things out.
Like a working
Like a
group.
working
Yeah,
group,
yeah.
maybe do some research that would help the
Yeah.
committee. So those are some of the differences as to how a subcommittee would work. And then and maybe, like I said, look, I guess my thought would be, let's try it out for a few months, see how it works. It doesn't have to be a permanent subcommittee, but if it helps move some of the ideas along, we'll go from there. And then we'll be sure that everybody on the committee gets, notice of it. Just have to be careful. Well, I guess if it's an official meeting, you just can't take a vote. If you don't have,
Yeah.
you really just you should not have 4 or more members of the committee. You should be a little smaller than that. Okay. All right, so I'm hearing Jill's willing to deal with some of the pieces. We've got volunteers already to be on the working group. And either during the course of this meeting, or if after this meeting is done, if the working group wants to take a look at calendars and set a date, that's great. And then at the end of this meeting, we'll work on our full committee meetings next meeting time, which, as we think about November, December, we're running into holidays and all stuff like that. What am I forgetting about the subcommittee that anybody else can remind me of? Those were the recommendations from the town clerk. Sounds like we'll meet them. Go from there.
Do we need to do minutes?
Yeah,
And
you should have notes. Yep,
Okay.
minutes and notes, exactly.
No
And-
no talking in between.
Right. Thank you, Sean. Right. Yeah, exactly. Right. That as like this committee, sometimes I push out information to you, but you're never obligated to answer back because we're not supposed to have a conversation.
No.
Either online or in between. Right? Great. Good reminders. Anything else? Great. All right. Excellent. Got through that agenda. Thank you all for being willing to spend more time talking about some of this on a monthly basis and doing those logistics. Thank you, Jill. Great. All right, a couple of quick updates, and then we want to get to the application that is in front of us. Probably everybody knows at this point, we told the select board a week ago, thank goodness, and I'm grateful to all of you from Boat and the school district for having the thinking way back in the spring that this opioid money should be a fallback in case the drug-free communities federal money does not come through. Most of the folks in the room may know, nobody in applying for year 6 is getting funded, nor did anybody from year 1 get funded. So people are asked to think about reapplying in the spring of next year. That's totally up to, Boat and the school districts to take a look at, the community to take a look at, but at least you're covered under opioid funds. So thank you again and that had been approved by the select board at that larger than a drug-free grant amount so that your ongoing prevention work can continue at least for year 6. Thoughts or questions on any of that?
Jill, do you have the budget for that now? The lines I sent you, lines?
Yes, yeah, I haven't set it up, we haven't sent the money in.
Okay.
That's.
We're not spending any money.
Gail has that. Gail needs to sign off on whatever.
Okay.
Oh, okay, that's where my
Yeah.
being the signatory
Yeah.
will come in. Okay, great.
I brought it with me.
Perfect. All right, so we'll sign off. That's definitely the next step, get the money flowing, get the money rolling.
So
And
it looks
go
like the
from there.
money is okay for next year, the state funding taking place of federal cutbacks.
Right. Exactly. So that will take this, the Belchertown Drug-Free Community Grant through the end of September of 26. And then we'll take a look at, I don't know about you, you all probably have thought about it. We'll take a look at what is there to be applied for probably in January, February for, later next year. But my recommendation would be that everybody take a really close look at that and see what they're asking for. Because if my personal feeling is if it's really restrictive and not letting people do the kinds of prevention they want to do because of federal approaches, then it's entirely an option to come back to the opioid committee and probably maybe do the same thing, have opioid settlement dollars as a backup, even if you reapply for year 7.
I think that's for community's intention is to repeat the exact same process that we did last year.
I think
So
that makes sense.
the notice of funding will be out, it's going to be coming out soon. The application deadline looks like April.
April of next year. So we'll go through that. I think it's probably a good thing to be thinking about opioids as a backup as you go all the way through year 10.
Agreed.
Great, excellent. Anything else on that? Keep up the good work under the Drug-Free Communities Grant.
Since I'm here, we are officially into, once everything gets signed, we're officially into the 1-year gap coverage.
Yep,
I think
coverage.
it's important, I try to always remind, we didn't not get funded. There was no funding.
There was no funding, right, exactly.
So we're ready to go still. We plan to reapply, we plan to come back, and the foresight and doing it in the early and the pushing from Gail.
Yeah.
Like, put this in. Like,
Get it in,
let's go.
yep,
Chris and Eileen were on me. They'll say, like, let's make it happen. I didn't think we were gonna need it. Here we are.
yep,
So,
exactly.
thank you to everyone who's behind the scenes working on it and making it happen, because we are, for everything week is happening, like these people are,
Right.
haven't stopped.
Right,
Like,
haven't
all week.
stopped working, right, exactly, the work continues. So, great, I think, I think that's a good approach to all of it, and like you said, Belchertown and hundreds of other applicants across the country, nobody got funded in this cycle. So, lots of folks will be looking at what does it look like for, the next application. And I guess I'm hoping that not only across the state, but across the country, other prevention programs should be looking at their own local opioid dollars as a mechanism to keep things going. All right, just really quickly, the Honest Beginnings application that we had our October 2nd meeting about, and our group was very much in support of that. That reminder, just funds to help them fix their driveway, which we had kind of a timeliness to it because of the weather. So where we're at is that the select board approved it. They had they had a few questions, but one thing they did ask for, even though it's not required, and I emailed, I think, the committee, and I emailed Nick at Honest Beginnings. They asked for just one more bid, one more cost estimate, so there was a bit of a comparison. Very much agreed at the meeting, both by the town manager and others, that the cost estimate that they gave us seemed reasonable for what they were proposing to get done to improve that driveway. So I have not seen any, I don't know, I also encouraged Nick, get that bid or a cost estimate to Steve. Do you know if they got in,
Yes.
anybody get anything? Oh,
Yeah,
great.
I thought I sent it to you as well.
Oh, don't worry about it.
It came
As long as it got to Steve and the select board, even more important. Perfect.
Okay.
So that, and they approved, it was, to me, it was a, I'm grateful that they did it. They approved the amount of the original cost estimate. They also did say that if the second cost estimate was lower, but they felt like the first cost estimate was who they wanted to work with, which was a local company, they could do that. So they are approved for that full amount that they originally asked for. In other words, they're not obligated. Sometimes you have to go with the lowest bid, quote unquote. But if they felt like the other cost estimate was better in terms of the work to be done, they could go with that.
To be, to be forthright and transparent, the second bid or proposal came in from Ace, somebody. Please hold. Ace Asphalt
Okay,
from Springfield, at $12,339.
okay.
So we're kind of in the same.
Kind of in that same ballpark. I will say as well, the select board appreciated the fact that the original cost estimate was from a local company. So again, Honest Beginnings can go with that group and do their original cost estimate. So that is great. I'm glad to hear that that got to the select board. Just one other note, and it's kind of related to the first agenda item. Even though, again, it's not necessarily required of a group like Honest Beginnings, the select board did recommend that, particularly with any applicant, not just Honest Beginnings, in the future, that if it's a capital improvement, if it's about their building, if it's about their buildings and grounds, if it's a big piece of equipment or whatever, that they wanted our committee to get 3 bids. So whoever applies for just that kind of proposal, not a prevention program, not, something else, but just to get, to look at having 3 cost estimates or bids. And I just wanted to be sure everybody was comfortable with that in our committee. It doesn't seem unreasonable to me, but anybody have questions or comments about just for capital expenditures? Nope. Sound good? Sound good, Angela? Everybody can live with that? Okay, so then we'll put that on our actual application form if you're applying for things like capital stuff. We need to get 3 cost estimates. Sure, no problem. All right, excellent on that score. Just to be sure we were on solid ground, which we were, I went back to the state requirements and guidelines, and it says right in there, anything having to do with improving your building, improving the grounds, improving the physical plant of a program that supports people with opioid use disorder and recovery support is totally allowable. So again, Honest Beginnings may come back to us with additional, we've encouraged them to look at additional proposals related to their physical location and the needs of the resident, the buildings, as well as the residents who are in the program. Great. All right, thanks for your patience. For our guests who are here with the schools and with Bode and the students and all of that, hopefully everybody had a chance to take a look at the application for some folks to attend a conference in February. So let me turn it over to folks who are here with us.
So thank you.
Sure.
Here we are back again. So this was originally included in the 5-year application to the DFC. With a 5-year budget application, there's a little bit more flexibility to be able to say, this year we want to send students to this leadership training. Next year we'll prioritize this area. But knowing when you have money coming in every 5 years, to be able to be flexible with how you spend it. As we just talked about, we only had 1 year. So we had to prioritize. And this was one of the things that we had to take off for this year, knowing that we could come back to this committee and say, we'd still like to do this, and this is still an opportunity we'd like to pursue, but it was not the highest of high things to do on our list this year. If we come back for another 1-year gap year, it might be, if we don't do it this year, so we might look at it again for next year.
Mm-hmm.
This is an opportunity to really expand our Helping Hands group at the high school, which Aline has been in charge of for the past couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
The purpose primarily is to have those students attend the youth leadership training. Aline, Chris, and I, or 3 adults, depending on who it ends up being, would go as chaperones and be able to attend the conference secondarily. But the primary goal of this is to have some students here. We have not discussed selecting students. We have not even pursued really, this is during school. So having a conversation with Convenio about like, how does this work, having a conversation with students and parents, because we felt like if we didn't have the money to do it, why go all the way down? So first step is to come to this group and see if this is something that we're willing to support. Have any questions for Alina and myself around going? I know, I think you've gone. I think Shelley, you went.
I've been, several
So,
times,
there's some experience with the conference. I attended virtually, I think 7 or 8 years ago. It was terrible. I've been told that in person is great. So I'm excited to go back, but
In person is way better.
Did you say it was terrible?
It was terrible virtually.
Virtually,
It
it's-
just didn't
yeah.
translate. It just was
It's,
not, it was like sitting on the computer, not being able to get up and go to the next room or talk to the person next to me. It's like, oh, that was really.
I would imagine too, and I don't even know if they had, those of you more recently attending, if they had virtual option for youth, but the fun of it is that you see hundreds and hundreds of youth, all with their local t-shirts on, all from all over the country. And you have a chance to talk about what you have in common or what they're doing or what did you learn in your program. And, just, I can't imagine doing that virtually for the youth.
And I think we included a agenda for the youth program from years past. They didn't have one for the upcoming conference, but it is jam-packed. It is full of day-long activities for these students to be able to do, to really get to come back and continue to grow an already accomplished group that's featured in the CADCA newsletters, and like it's just been all over the place, getting additional grants to help support activities in town. So this group is great in what they've grown and the work that Alina and Chris have done with trying to find opportunities for them to develop themselves as citizen humans going off into the world. This would be another way to say, I think the year after we got started, even with the drug-free community, it took a couple of years, then we had CADCA come in and do a rebranding like workshop with our group, and after that it took off. So I'm imagining the same sort of future for this Helping Hands group that's already doing wonderful things, and now this could be something that ignited to even become, Dover Youth big.
Big. Questions, comments?
We'll
Yes.
start, having been, I know it's gonna ignite passion in them. It is going to show them what is happening around the country, which is super valuable. I think this experience is something you couldn't learn in school. There's so much and so much opportunity to network, which sounds silly, but it's very important for their understanding. They're going to get so much broader of a picture. They're going to encounter leaders who are going to inspire them. I'm 100% yes. Yeah, this would be so good for the kids.
Other questions, comments?
Yeah,
Go ahead, Angela.
Oh, hey, sorry. Just being at CADCA in July, and one of the coolest parts for me was seeing all the youth there, and seeing their excitement, and and it's such a cool way for them to immerse themselves in this work and really take ownership and feel like it's amounting to something. So I think it's an incredible opportunity for sure.
Great, thank you. Other committee members, go ahead.
Reviewing the materials, I think it does sound, from what you're saying, sounds like a really worthwhile organization. My only concern now is about money, but you reassured us somehow with all the cuts from the federal government, we have the money. So, and then second thing, since we're sending the students, basically, it would be great if they could come back and maybe, if they get back maybe 6 months later or next year, give a little report of how they're applying.
Yep.
How they're applying what they learned to, in programs in high school. So to see what, bang we're getting for the buck, so to speak.
Yep,
Yeah. That would be good.
Yep.
For them to make a report.
sure, absolutely. Yep.
Getting something practical.
Mhm.
Yeah, not just like a fun time.
Excellent. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. One other thought I had too, just knowing that this is February and it doesn't, that the conference itself to be held then. I'm sure you're thinking about maybe some of your students who are like maybe juniors, so you get another year out of them, or maybe even sophomores. Doesn't mean you can't come back to us for other training opportunities for youth. But I think, this kind of investment would be great. I agree. It's going to spark a lot of interest. It's the kind of conference, and we literally did this years ago when the town of Ware got its first drug-free grant. We were there, not with youth, but with some of our partners. You can literally walk up to the Surgeon General of the United States, and we talked to him and shook hands and got our picture taken and all that good stuff. So that's invaluable for young students to say, look, I just talked to this incredible public health leader. Maybe it'll spark an interest in public health in some students. You never know what this kind of thing can do.
You said JFL is February though, the first attachment is July, so just a past.
That was the
Oh,
most recent agenda we could find, because they don't have the youth leadership agenda for the February
But this
conference.
is
For the
gonna be in
February,
February.
right,
Yeah.
yeah. Good question, Dave. There is what they call the mid-year, and I think that's what Angela was talking about, having attended. They have the February National Forum, and then they have that mid-year in July, both of which have youth tracks in them. And like I said, at the hotel, you'll see, hundreds, if not thousands of youth walking around. They're having such a good time. And I guess the other thing, the public health side of me can't also, go without mentioning is that this is a proven program. The Drug-Free Communities program is an evidence-based, proven program. So again, from the state's perspective, I think this kind of investment and engaging with youth is often a challenge. You all have done such a good job here. Sometimes I know, when I was connected with previous programs, it's a struggle sometimes to get youth. Like you said, Sean, I don't know why they hold it when it's during school time, like it's not a school vacation, but again, hopefully that all can be worked out, and all those students and youth who go are doing so with the support of their schools and their community. Any other questions or comments about the application, about the proposal?
I think it's a great idea.
Sounds good.
Don't envy you having to pick 5 of the students.
I know that might be the challenge,
Yeah.
right? Which
One
5
step at a time.
students? Right, exactly.
I wish we could send them all.
I know, right? I wish you could, right? Think about, right?
Okay, so
Go.
I'm gonna move that we
Go for it.
approve this grant.
Great. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I've got a motion. I've got a second. Just to maybe make note, best for you to probably abstain.
Will abstain.
All right. Got a motion and a second. No other discussion. I'll do a roll call vote. I'll start with Angela virtually. We got a motion. Yes. Okay. We got a yes. Jill.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yes. I'm a yes.
Yes,
I abstain.
yes.
And you're a yes. All right. We've got the approval. Let us know if there's anything else that we could do. I guess the other thing I would also say too, just let us know based on your cost estimate, if anything changes, particularly like airfare and hotel and all that, which sometimes can, if anything varies, let us know.
I did notice in the application that taxes were not included in specific parts of this, like for the
Okay.
hotel and stuff, so
Okay.
that's why, the price that was there, that was designed, it looks like the taxes were not included in there as well, so it probably will change like
Okay.
completely.
Okay. Well, our next step will be to go, like we always do, go in front of the select board. I think they're meeting, their special town meeting tonight, but I think they're meeting a week from today. But anyway, I've got a little bit of time. Maybe the goal is just, see if you can finalize and get as close to an estimate, sometime November, December. I would certainly say, obviously, you're probably booking your hotels and trying to do all of that already, right? Just to, because I know where it's held, there's multiple hotels. But there's often a lot of competition for those hotel rooms as well, so. Great.
And we will meet with, first of all, thank you. And second,
Right.
we will meet with superintendent, with that principal, and figure out the necessary logistical steps between now and then, get a better, most accurate budget we possibly can, but
Yeah.
we won't do anything until we have 100,000%, everything is ready to go.
Okay,
But this was step one.
Step one.
Is it even in the cards?
right, exactly. Quick question for our accountant. So if the select board approves a particular budget, they go to the conference, whatever, something happens and they come back with some expenses that they didn't anticipate. Could we support, or could we ask for like reimbursement for that?
Yes.
Okay,
As long as there's money.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, so just,
Technicality.
yeah, technicality, we definitely have to have,
For whatever you want.
we have to have the money in the budget, absolutely. But just another thought, just in case something, you never know what's gonna happen when you're down there. Great.
As an aside, if there's anything any of the rest of us can do to help with the principal and the superintendent, if you want somebody outside but inside, I'm sure that one or some of us would be happy to just be there in support.
Excellent.
You include, I mean, I don't think we have to put it in writing, but will have the students do some sort of report months later about
Yes.
how they're using what they learned.
And I think that would be good to do even right when they get back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
While it's fresh. And then,
Yep.
And then maybe look months down the road and see.
Yeah.
And
How they did it.
another thing too is that, like usually about this time of year, we report to the school committee. So it might be a good idea to combine the two, at the same time, maybe in December or January. Just a
Great.
thought.
Excellent. Yeah, be great. And knowing how technologically facile most students are, I'm sure they will be documenting while they're there, photographs and what workshops they went to and friendships that they make and people that they will likely keep in touch with even afterward, which is again, a good part of the experience. So that'll help to sort of bring the picture back home. This is what we experienced when we went to it and the value of that kind of experience. Excellent. Great. All right, just doing a quick time check. I've got about 10:42 on my watch. Just a couple of other things that I want to check in on, and then we'll figure out our next meeting date. Turn to folks who were involved, just to remind us, just a few days ago, Friday was the resource fair. I can't remember what we're calling it, at our local library. So feedback or thoughts on how it went?
So, I went over to help, set it up and get everything going because we were in the middle of doing Red Ribbon Week stuff as well. So Angela, the
Oh,
co-chair
okay.
for BOAT, was able to, step in, and help out that day. So Angela, could you give a little synopsis of, like who was there
There you go.
and how many people came, how it went?
Yeah, I mean, it was, I think we lost a couple groups, but we gained one. Empower Health Group was there. Tapestry was there.
Hampshire Hope?
Yep. Yeah, there were about 6 of us there, 6 groups. And, it was nice because we were able to talk to each other and kind of, find out more about what our groups were there to offer and things like that, especially because a few of them didn't know each other. But as for actual people, attendees, we only got two girls that came in. They didn't even come for that. They just happened to be in the library, heard about it, and came downstairs. But they did take some resources. So I think that I was talking to Chris, and I think that next time when we have a little bit more time to figure out a better way to market this, I was thinking that if we could just figure out what groups are going to be there and kind of list a few of the resources that they have to offer instead of just the group names. That way people can kind of connect like, oh, I can get that there and maybe I should stop by, something like that. But you know, it was really nice to be there, and I think it's going to be good once it gets rolling.
I think another good idea too is for us, you know, maybe 2 weeks ahead of time to submit to the Sentinel, like what groups are gonna be, if we can do it 2 weeks ahead of time, because remember, it's once a month that we do it, so it's kind of like a big turnaround. But if we could do like some type of little synopsis on each of the organizations to get in print, that would help out too. Or, you know, just giving, you know, during the week, you know, put out in like the public forum, you know, oh, check out this organizations that's going to be there, and just do one at a time and keep putting it out there during the week. But definitely marketing it a little bit more. Honestly, we did not have the capacity to do more than what we did, which was, you know, we posted it in social media, flyers around, what have you. But, you know, hopefully it'll pick up. And once we get a public health nurse in place too, that person's going to be probably the point for this.
Right.
You know, getting the other I mean, I'll probably work side by side with them on it, but that person will probably be more involved with this, so that'll help out a lot.
Great.
What do you think about a sign this Friday, like that could go in front of the library the week, like the week before, or early that week, just to kind of give people
And the electric sign. Why not do the
right,
electric sign by the
right,
police
the
department? We
electric
did that for
signs,
Drug Take Back Day. I got a hold of them, and you know, people that came to Drug Take Back Day this year, we asked each car,
Nice.
how did you hear about us? It was mostly social media, Facebook, 22 News the night before, and then the electric sign.
Cool.
So
Where was the electric sign put up? Where was the electric sign?
right across the street from the police department.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think people see it. Again, remember too, I remember certainly when Palmer was just getting started with this model, you know, it's sometimes a little slow to build. So Angela, I think you're right. You talk amongst yourselves, who's there, learn more about resources, whoever's there, people who might not have thought that's what they were at the library for, but now they're there and they can learn more. And then, like you said, more marketing. I would remind, and maybe we think about, just remind us all that we can make some investments in this kind of thing. So if you want to make a sign for the library that, you know, maybe a lawn sign or whatever, that you can put the date on it or whatever, as you think about how you're marketing it, if there's cost involved, you know, bring it to this committee. I think we should like maybe get the approval of the select board for like a standing approval of reimbursement for this kind of thing. So if you need refreshments, if you need a sign, if you need whatever, but we can talk more about that. But I think, you know, if there's costs involved, it seems appropriate for this money to be used for them.
So we would want to fill out an application for ourselves.
I think so. Does that make sense?
Or would it be, this is my question, or
would it be the library?
Would it be like, kind of an expenditure reimbursement?
Right.
Where,
what do you think? What makes more sense?
I suppose if it's going to be a small amount, a nominal amount, you know, $100 or something. My thought is, and we can ask Steve about this, that, you know, for the little nitty gritty things, we could probably use that as a general expenditure.
Okay.
But we do. I
Okay.
run it by Steve.
All right.
because,
Sounds good.
Yeah, I don't want
whatever's
to assume that
right.
the board would be
right.
okay with that.
Right. yeah, whatever logistically makes sense is, I feel comfortable if the select board says, yep, we're talking, certainly not talking large proposals like the other ones that we've brought in front of them. But yeah, just to be sure that, and I agree with you, once that public health nurse is on board, I think that person be involved. But there could be, food, snacks, some, I know in Palmer, sometimes they've invested in, little things you have to buy to give away to people. We try to get as much free as you can from various organizations like a tapestry who can come with freebies, but if you have to, invest in those, let's look at that. Great.
The WOW bus was there too, so,
Yep,
and I do
cool.
not know, I don't know if anybody went into it or not. Do you know anything, Angela, about the WOW bus? Did you get any feedback about the WOW bus?
Oh, no, I don't. I mean, they came in, the three of them that were working in there, they came in because nobody was coming to them. So I don't even think they saw anybody besides us that day.
Well, we'll keep working on building it, and see what happens. Sounds good. Do you have a date in mind for the next time? Still
We're
working on
doing it the third
The third
Friday of the month.
Does that bump you into near Thanksgiving for next month?
Yeah, I mean, it's,
Because, like I said, things get a little trickier as we get to.
it would be the 20th, November 20th.
Oh, okay. That's before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the third.
Yep. Okay. Great.
Yeah, November 20th.
Okay. Great. Excellent. Just as an aside, I'm on the Board of Health along with Dave here in Belchertown. The Quabbin Health District approved the job description for the public health nurse at its recent meeting. So hopefully the hiring process is moving forward, and hopefully they'll have somebody fairly
Is that gonna
soon.
be a half-time or full-time position?
I think we approved it at 30 hours. Do you remember, Dave, I think it was 30 hours, yeah. And to be honest,
I think this is going to happen. I'm sorry.
sorry, no worries. The Quabbin Health District approved the an upgraded job description for the public health nurse. And I think the hiring process is probably underway, at least the accepting of resumes and whatnot, yeah. 30 hours. The good news is this kind of project fits perfectly because what was enhanced in that job description is more community work and partnering with outside organizations and, being a representative to various community groups. So this fits in perfectly with that.
Can we go back to
Sure.
the November 20th event?
Sure.
We were just talking about with the SNAP situation.
Yeah.
Yep.
What if, could we, and does anyone want to, I don't even know how to say this, but do a food drive previous to that? It gives us less than a month, but I think
Okay.
if we put it out
Yeah.
and have a distribution
At the library
Yeah.
that day.
That's a great idea.
Ooh, that's a
for
great idea.
Thanksgiving
For Thanksgiving.
and so on. I mean, it doesn't have to be only Thanksgiving stuff, but in the spirit of Thanksgiving.
That
When
is a
I-
good idea.
When I
Go
worked
ahead.
at WIC, we did that every year around the holidays. 'Cause we would work with the local high school to do a drive for like the sides and stuff for Thanksgiving. And then we worked with, I think Big Y donated a certain amount of turkeys to us.
Okay.
I have another idea, it's just wild, it's sort of every year I participate in Monty's March, the food bank,
Bank.
Western Mass, so it's a 43-mile, you guys know about it? What it is? 43 miles from Springfield to Greenfield over 2 days. And so in the past, I've had a team from Holy Pediatrics, but I retired from there December 31st, so I don't know, maybe we have a Belchertown team.
There's a way.
No one has to walk the full amount, only real Looney Tunes like me, but and Jim McGovern, among other people. some people just walk little shifts, but everyone tries to raise some money. And that might bring some nice, great publicity to Belchertown and our local folks here. But it takes some organizing, but usually I know about how to get the team registered and stuff.
When is it?
It's just a little under a month. It's November 23rd, 24th. It's always the Monday and Tuesday before Thanksgiving. But we aren't really that behind if we decide to do it. It's people kind of organize in the last month.
Right.
Especially with, like you're saying, the cuts in SNAP.
Yeah, I know, right, which are taking
You
effect
know,
soon.
affecting 10 million people in Massachusetts alone. Third of them seniors, a third of them kids, and a third of them disabled.
Yeah,
Pretty awful. I think the first time it's ever happened to this extent, even in a government shutdown.
right,
They've always
right.
found the money,
They've always found the money for that.
presidential decision.
Mm-hmm.
So just throwing out there,
Okay.
I think you could get in touch with me and think about it.
Okay,
If you
yeah,
don't
let's
have
think
my
about it.
email, but, you know, do it the next day or two.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
I think, you know, whatever other ways we can mobilize people, I like
Yeah.
the idea. I will volunteer with a different hat that I wear as part of the volunteer group, the Belchertown Can, which in our local Stop and Shop is the people who manages that bin of food where people
Yeah.
donate. So once a month, we have volunteers who, you know, pick up that food and then bring it to food pantries. So we have a volunteer list if we were to think about a specific food drive, where and when and how we might do it. So that then the food is available at the library on that November 20th for distribution. I'm happy to be a part of that and maybe bring Belchertown Can into that
If
as
we,
well.
Also talk to Sawyer.
If
with the
we
Food
did
Policy Council.
Okay, great.
something like on like a Saturday, right? And we said, have the can drive, you know, on a Saturday, bring it to like a specific location, we can be here.
Yep.
You know, and collect it. So like, I mean, I can put or organize the flyer and do all that, but I just need logistics around it.
Yeah.
So like, if we wanna do it, like, I'll do it on that Saturday, I'll be in town then. So,
Which is Saturday, the,
15th,
okay,
huh?
I can't help.
I can.
All right, we'll
I
figure.
know, I always feel guilty.
I gotcha. Yep.
Does
So
it,
I mean,
sorry, yep.
just a matter of like what time we wanna do it, where we wanna do it. Being outside is gonna be cold. Don't really wanna do it outside. I have a key to the town hall. We could always do it here.
Yep, that's what
You know,
we've done,
we
and
can
that's what
ask.
Can has
We can
done in
ask.
the past, right? That's what.
Right, and so I can do up a big flyer. I just need somebody to send me logistics around it. If you guys wanna pick a time, if we wanna try to do that now,
We should pick a
Well,
time
cause we
now.
need to get it out now, like pretty much.
And people do their errands Saturday mornings, right?
Right,
I don't know, am I crazy?
It's
I think a lot of people do their errands Saturday mornings,
Yeah.
so 9 to 12,
9 to 12?
10 to 1.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
I guess I would
I'm
also,
just throwing it out there.
Right.
I
Yeah.
know.
in the past, when Can has done it, we have had permission from Stop and Shop to be right at their doors and to give people a list as they go in and say, this is what we're hoping you might buy. So if you want to gear it towards sort of a Thanksgiving kind of thing. And then you need volunteers who are then going to collect it and then bring it. And we'd have to
Yeah.
work with the
Yeah.
library to hang on to it until the 20th. So if it's collected on the 15th and you want to distribute it on the 20th, we work out the logistics of where and when. I know other organizations also do food drives on the common. I think there's a scout group that does. So people are encouraged to bring non-perishable stuff to the common, where then again, it's kind of packed up and
Yep.
brought to wherever it needs to be brought. So there are some logistics to kind of figure out.
That, the library is on the Friday or the Thursday?
Friday,
It's on
Okay,
Friday.
3 to
21st.
5.
Okay.
Oh, it's the 21st? Okay.
So it's always 3 to 5.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure, because we're saying
Yes.
Friday and the 20th is a Thursday, so.
Yeah. The
Okay,
21st.
I just want to make sure we're on the same.
Friday is the next resource fair.
Okay.
So like, even like when I do the flyer, I can, you know, put down, you know,
Yeah.
that we're gonna be distributing it, here's the resource fair.
This might be a great way to get people there.
Huh?
Right,
It'll
yeah,
get
get
people there.
people
Yeah.
there, right,
Yeah.
right.
Well, it's gonna be
Yeah.
good marketing.
Yeah.
Right.
As well as the primary purpose, so.
So
Yeah.
now in the meantime,
Okay.
I'm gonna have to reach out at the same time and get organizations to come to this thing on the 21st.
Substance use related and other community resources, right? In
Yeah.
addition to the ones that Angela talked about.
So I'll try to get community resources that are related to maybe like this type of thing, like maybe WIC can come, I don't know.
I know, right,
Yeah.
that's a good
Yeah.
point
Yeah.
too, right?
Or like fuel assistance.
Yeah, right. Mhm.
Sawyer might be able to do it. I'm volunteering them for things. But Sawyer for the Food Policy Council might be able to come.
What's that?
Sawyer from the Food Policy Council.
The regional
Yeah.
food policy under Healthy Quabog.
For Saturday, you mean? For the club, what, for what?
For both.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'll
yeah.
get them to.
Yeah, the
to
food
send out-
council, yes,
yeah.
definitely, yep.
I'll have them email the food council about this, so maybe we'll get some volunteers that way.
All right,
Okay.
and I'll reach out to Sawyer too. I'll
Yeah.
send, like, once I put all this
Yeah.
together, I'll send out the invitation to Sawyer
Yeah.
then specifically, okay?
Okay. I'm willing, like I said, to pass it along and try to recruit volunteers both for the Saturday before and that Friday to help with collection, distribution, whatever, because they're used to doing that.
I'll try to do something through town hall as well.
All right.
I'll spread the word through town hall. We'll, whatever the flyers are, I'll put them out for
Okay.
people. Lots of times people in town hall and in the town departments want to contribute to
Right.
something.
Alright, so do we wanna have that here then on the Saturday? Like say 9 to 12 Saturday, food drive?
That, like I said, that's how Can used to do it. We had volunteers at the supermarkets.
And then
People were
he-
driving back and forth, and here you had a group of volunteers boxing it all up.
Okay.
And the way it was done is that then all the food would be equally distributed to the 3 pantries in town and the survival center. But if we're saying this is different, this is just individuals coming to take home a box of
Yeah, because we're gonna
food,
be doing at the
then
resource,
we
so let's
could-
just set it up
you
here.
could set it up here, and then
And that way you're right next to the
you're
library.
right near the library, so it's not as bad.
Maybe we can stage it on the stage.
Right, that's how we used to do it. was
Yeah.
on the stage.
And then.
Great
have it
idea.
There until we're ready.
Right.
I'll ask those questions.
Alright,
Yeah,
can you
that's-
get back to me, like,
Tonto?
as soon as you can?
And that's how we did it at WIC too. We
Right.
would box everything up. You get like the potatoes,
Right,
So we'll need
each
boxes
box,
too.
or bags.
yep.
Oh, I'll have a lot of boxes.
Yeah.
Oh,
you're
right, you're moving. We used to also get them donated from Stop and Shop. They would love it if we took their boxes away, yes. A volunteer would go and help them, like, they don't have to worry about them, we would just fill cars and trucks full of boxes, and we would get their
Okay.
boxes,
Yeah.
so.
Okay.
Anyway, if you can, keep me in the loop, because then I can, like I said, get some of those Can folks involved.
Okay.
Great,
Cause I'll do, the flyer I'll do out there, I'll do like, community resource fair and food drive, or because, well, I'm gonna be doing 2 different flyers then, right? Because one's gonna be for the day, the 21st, and then one's gonna be for the food drive.
right,
Yeah.
right,
Alright. so
Donate
I'm
your
gonna have to
food
do
on the
food drive
15th
first.
and
I'll do
then-
food drive first then.
okay. All right, mark your calendars, everybody. I know you got
Oh, no, I
one
keep
more
picking
thing to do. We'll help. We'll definitely help.
Alright, so 2 flyers, alright.
Well, if you
All right.
want me to, I can do the food drive flyer.
Yeah, alright, and then I'll work, if you wanted to work on the food
Yeah,
drive
and then
flyer,
we will
I'll do
do
the
the-
resource
Yeah,
flyer,
flyer.
that way I can start reaching out to people.
Right.
Thank
And
you.
then it's the food pickup is at the 21st, right?
Right, and so when I do the flyer, like I'll do the resource flyer and how should I word that? Like resource flyer and food.
Distribution.
Thanksgiving food.
Thanksgiving food, free
I'll pick-
Thanksgiving food.
I'm gonna go use Chat GPT.
There you go.
There you go. And like maybe pictures that
And
are,
let
that
Can vote,
show
right.
different things, different resources that we might have, like heating and whatever. I think that would be helpful too, so that people understand that it is not solely addiction recovery related.
Yeah,
Perfect.
Right.
for sure. We also had Pioneer Valley Suicide Prevention Coalition
Oh,
come this
nice.
past Saturday
Okay.
too. And then, NA, I did meet the NA representative out in Springfield
Mhm.
over the weekend
Mhm.
and, picked up a rack with tons of
their stuff?
NAAA information
Right.
so that we have that permanently now
Great.
over there.
Nice. Great.
Okay.
All right, well, thanks. That sounds great. I think this is part of how Palmer started with their permanent food bank. Their library has a permanent food bank
Yeah, they
in
do.
there. And that's, I bet this kind of conversation
Weird to find
stimulated that. And now, probably more than ever, they're thinking about augmenting it as well because the demand's going to be higher. Great. All right, it's a little bit after 11. I have kind of a hard stop at like 11:15, 11:20. How about if we get through a few more things on our agenda and then we'll set our next meeting date. Let me maybe turn to Emily to talk about the RISE Mosaic Municipal Matching Funds grant, because that's kind of got an upcoming deadline and has implications for Belchertown.
Yeah, so RISE came out with their matching grant again. So individual towns can get matched up to 50,000 of their opioid funds, and then clusters of towns can get matched up to 150, so 300 total. One thing that we've been talking about is a social worker shared between the towns. I did talk to the Recovery Center of Hope. They think, from what they're hearing from their participants, that wouldn't be as helpful as a housing navigator would. So a housing navigator, because housing is such an issue right now. So we were thinking in partnership between Ware and Belchertown, potentially having a housing navigator. Slash, if we can get enough money, do a housing navigator. And I would also love just a general care navigator that could navigate all the resources that are available to people, so that instead of going to all these different websites and calling all these different things, they go to one person who has their hands in all those buckets. The Recovery Center seems to think that that would be much more helpful to the community. And I think I agree, because we have BHN, we have and BHN has new social workers and new recovery coaches, and they're finding some overlap between them and the Recovery Center, and people are getting a little confused, but housing is such an issue right now. I think a housing navigator makes sense. We were thinking it would sit at the Recovery Center, which does cover Belchertown as well, in using their guiding rides to get the housing navigator out here and split the time evenly between Belchertown and Ware.
Okay.
How do people feel about that?
Questions, comments?
Sorry, noting.
Noting, feel free, note. I know, it's a lot to take in.
Is that gonna be like a full-time job?
So
So each,
yeah,
Yeah.
potentially. I'm really excited about the prospect of having someone who knows all the resources.
Yeah.
I'm not excited about housing only
yeah,
for a full-time
Yeah.
person,
Yeah.
And I would expect, maybe I'm crazy, but I would expect that a person who is in that arena would have some broader knowledge. I don't know. maybe
Yeah.
it's not.
And what do you mean by broader knowledge? You mean like, as far as like resources that are connected to like WIC and like,
Exactly.
DCF maybe, those types of things,
Yeah.
because that all plays a part
Yeah.
with the housing and
Oh,
all
yeah,
that
that's
stuff.
right.
So you're gonna want, like, you are gonna want somebody that has a social work background that has connections in all of those areas. You know, and housing, you know, obviously too, but I think if it's a little bit broader around those, but having an expert in all of those, usually social workers have those general expertise. So I'd probably still lean
Somewhere in that
towards
field.
that.
The problem with the social worker is we can't do a clinical one because they need clinical supervision. The Western Mass Consortium won't do a social worker under.
That's, yeah, and I know other towns have models too that we've talked to that just have that non-clinical social worker connected to them, like what, Ludlow, right? East Hampton has one.
East Hampton has,
You know, they have those people that are specific there that aren't clinical, but can provide those resources to the clinical, you know, in the area.
And we, at Holy Pediatrics, we had, I forget what they're calling now, but there were 2 staff members, one time we're up to 3, that did just this. And they weren't even social workers, they just had backgrounds in connecting folks to resources.
Yeah.
Right.
And one attorney was, usually was a medical assistant.
Right.
Learned on the job. Another one, I think, was undergraduate social work.
That's true.
No master's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a care coordinator,
Yeah,
care
Care
navigator.
coordination.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, and they connected people to the food bank and to housing resources and kind of stuff. Yeah.
Do you think that's a roadblock? If we were a little bit insistent on doing a little, like, going beyond housing?
They seemed open to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I think we need to figure that out too.
Yeah.
If we're gonna do a, you know, think about doing a combined.
Yeah.
Right.
I think there's a definite need for housing in there,
Absolutely.
but I agree. Like just the basic needs,
Right.
food, housing, clothing, heat, that type of stuff.
But I agree though with Dave about like, it would be a bachelor level position, coming in. With just a general knowledge. I mean, and even having like a bachelor's degree in psychology would work as well.
Other thoughts or questions? This is, like I said, there's a bit of a time crunch here. We haven't brought anything, you know, to the select board. This would involve commitment both by Belchertown and Ware for funding. It's a matching grant, so you have to put your own money in first, obviously, and get the match from the RISE Mosaic folks. It's due fairly quickly. I also, maybe Emma, be helpful to let us know what Palmer is still thinking, because we got to think about who else is in the region applying for these funds.
They're separately applying for their own RISE grant with the library for social work. So they are not going to be partnering.
Right.
At this time, because they want to focus on the
Mhm.
application.
So,
Yeah.
what is the process for us to make a decision on this and or send it to the board? I mean,
Right.
do we just say, send it to the board because it's a town thing, but
Right.
then we're involved with, so tell me what you think.
Yeah, my feeling is we would need, so that the application, before the application goes in, which is due what, November 7th, right? So it's really quick.
It's
That,
the easiest grant application.
that's great. The hard
It's like
part,
10 questions.
the hard part is gonna be getting
the
the
last
select
one.
board. No, I hear you. So if we're talking 2 towns, and if you're going for the max, more than one town can go for 150,000 in match.
Okay.
We're talking 75 grand coming from each town out of their opioid settlement funds. My personal feeling is I don't want the application to go in at all with Belchertown in it unless we know the select board is okay with that. Because, and that means getting to them ASAP. Are you open to the idea? I was in on a conversation with Emily and Emma and the folks from the recovery center. if you're gonna create a position, I feel like we're asking the select board to approve this for more than 1 year. That we're saying if you're gonna invest in, and these grants are only for 2 years, a year, you can roll
They're
over.
technically for a year,
Right,
but you can roll over the money.
you can roll over the matching
It's-
money, but the
It's
towns,
very, yeah.
right. So in order to maintain the full budget, once the matching funds are gone, then you're still, I think, looking to the 2 municipalities to commit to more than a year, because you're talking about creating a position, which then you'd have to
Support.
We need to think about benefits.
Yeah.
If a full-time person is gonna require benefits, benefits are very expensive. Are we thinking that that this funding would be used for that as well?
I think it would have to be,
I think
and
it's
if
a
we're
hard sell
talking,
if
I know,
we're
I think
not covering benefits.
it could,
Yeah.
right, exactly. And the thought out of an initial conversation was that person is an employee of the recovery center. So Belchertown and Ware and Rise are committing the money if the grant is funded, but
Okay.
it's right, it's an
Yeah.
employee of the
Okay,
recovery
great.
center, so
Yeah.
yes,
So
under,
it
I
would
think
be,
that makes it
it would
easier.
be,
makes
yeah,
it
it
easier,
would be their
For the board.
benefits and their French rate, their overhead,
Awesome.
right,
instead of trying to combine both our overheads
Yeah,
and
right.
benefit.
We've done that before. It's
And
not,
that,
it's
it doesn't
great.
sound fun.
right.
I'd rather avoid that too.
We also thought that and I
Yeah.
think the recovery center seems like the logical. So then you don't have to worry about a municipal employee in either place.
And then we just have to figure out a spot for them to be here.
Right,
halftime, which I
exactly.
think we could.
Yeah.
Right, so that they would be physically equally in both communities as well as be able to work remotely
Mhm.
if as needed. So I guess the question to this group is there consensus that we support the concept, we support potentially, Belchertown being part of an application to Rise? The good news is they recognize how hard it is to get some municipalities to sign on the dotted line. So the final commitment, the marriage doesn't have to take place until after you have been funded.
Yeah.
But again, I don't want to even go forward unless does this committee support the idea, and we'd go to the select board and say, are you open to us?
And you'll have to get on there November 3rd.
I'd have to get on their November 3rd agenda in order to do that before the application is due.
If it's gonna be a continuous position that's gonna be coming out of our funding, I just want us to be clear that
Mhm.
if for some reason we lose our complete funding for drug-free communities,
Mhm.
like, we wanna also make
Sure.
sure that we're
Yeah.
gonna be covered
Yeah.
prior.
No, I hear you.
Yeah.
Right, because you're right, we're talking.
So,
yeah, I hear ya.
there's a couple pieces of the puzzle we have to look at here.
Mhm.
It doesn't seem as cut and dry as we think, but maybe it is.
I think you're right that and as well as any other applications that are gonna come in over this year, next year, that we want to be sure that we are not draining the well completely so
yeah.
that we don't have opportunities for other.
And I think Ware's in that same situation.
Oh, yeah.
Right,
So I think we're both in that situation where we kind of need to take a look at
Yeah.
really how much is this gonna cost all of us.
right. And how quickly these RISE grants are scheduled to take effect March. So we would be talking about this current fiscal year that Belchertown and Ware are asked to throw money into the pot. So I think your point is well taken. Maybe we could look at what's currently in our bank account, what's coming into our bank account between now and then decide. But
I don't have the information about what is still to come for this year, however, but I do have the information about what we have on our plate right now versus the current balance. That leaves us 213,000 in change.
with drug-free funded, with Honest Beginnings
Yes.
funded, and, okay.
Yeah,
But per year though, what are we looking at? The amount of money
Right,
coming in
right.
per year? I mean, we have that
Understood.
in a little backup right now,
I
but
got
as,
him.
yeah, that's the thing that I think we need to extract out, like how it's looking from year to year as well.
Mhm. Is that something you and I could check in on, or just we could then can we come to any consensus that if the well looks like it's full enough for us, and then we bring it to the select board? Or if the well is not full enough, and even trying to commit to 75 grand in this application is beyond what we think, then we don't even go in front of the select board, and then, you know, that, I don't know, what do we think? I know we're under like time crunch and everything else, but money is also part of what we have to be thinking about.
So, I mean, one thing is instead of looking at bringing this person on as an ongoing employee, could it be looked at more of as a year-long project position? I mean, obviously anybody who's in this field knows that everything is kind of up in the air right now, and we don't know what's going to happen from month to month. So can we just make it like a 1-year thing and then reassess? You know, obviously we know that drug-free communities needs to be funded. They would be, I think, our priority because, but then this other thing could just, let's start with a year and go from there.
I am comfortable with that.
I'm comfortable with that.
All right,
too.
people are comfortable. We can maybe check and see if how the recovery center and how Ware feels about it. Have you brought anything to the Ware select board yet?
No.
They haven't weighed in yet either. Okay,
And I will say, we don't have to, like, we can go up to 75 in matching.
right.
Like, and that would give us 150 in matching, but we could do each 50. That would still be 100, that was 100, that'd be 200. That's more than enough to cover someone for a year.
Okay,
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be.
and you're still waiting for a proposed budget from the recovery center? Or did they send you
haven't
anything?
heard.
All right. So once we take a look at that,
Yeah.
good reminder that although you can go for the full 150 matching, you don't have to. And 50,000 from each town might be a little more palatable at this point, and leave some money in the well for future.
Mhm.
All right, so what I'm hearing is some consensus that we want to at least still be part of this conversation. We like the idea. We're waiting for a budget from the recovery center, and I'm going to try to get on that agenda regardless, because we want to bring your proposal, at least in theory, to them. Anyway, so I'm trying to think whether we need a motion. We don't even have anything specific to sort of vote on, but what do you,
Well, I
how do you
think,
want to word a
are we
motion?
okay with consensus?
I'm okay with
Because the
that.
board has to sign like ultimately
Yes.
it's a
The board, right,
partnership.
exactly. The
Yeah.
board would ultimately, and again, not until you know if you're funded. So if it's not funded,
Then
neither Belchertown nor Ware is out the money.
But there's no reason we can't vote either.
That's, yeah,
I'll move that we
okay,
explore this further.
okay. That sounds like a good, do I have a second?
I second.
All right, I got a second, a motion. Let's do a quick roll call. Angela, motion to explore this further, and,
Yes.
okay, Jill,
Yes.
Emily,
Yes.
I'm a yes?
Yes.
Yes, okay, so we're in agreement on that. And we will go from there, and we'll speed things up when it's time for that application to be done. All right, it's about almost 11, it's 11:22, like I said. Let's just make a decision about our next meeting, and we'll table some other stuff. Just want to check in. There's going to be a subcommittee meeting, it sounds like, at some point. The goal maybe between now and our next meeting. If we were to meet on that Monday, that would be the Monday of Thanksgiving week. Is that a crunch? Is that a problem? Are people traveling Monday, the 24th?
I'm doing Monty's March.
Oh, that's right, you'll be marching.
Yeah.
what would be the week before that? That's the 17th. Is that better?
If we do the 17th, that would be before the food distribution. So if we wanted to bring our own food.
17th, I think is good.
Yeah,
That's a good
I think
idea.
that is a
All right.
great idea.
All right, let's do November 17th
Yep.
instead. 10 o'clock. All right, and then whenever all right, I'm going to entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second? Got a second? All those in favor? I'm gonna officially adjourn the meeting and turn the recording off part at